Hey, Emma here from Team Living Your Dream, and today in 7-minute success secrets, which I do hope to keep to 7 minutes. You know, if you've been watching this, I've been running on a little bit recently, but today's 7 minutes and I might get there if I stop waffling. But today in the 7-minute success secrets, I want to talk to you about the learning cycle. And this is pretty close to my heart because I've made some breakthroughs recently that have taken me up to the next phase, if you like, and I'll tell you about it when I get there. And it starts off with unconscious incompetence, right? And what that means, unconscious incompetence, means that basically you don't know what you don't know. Okay, it comes within the realms of ignorance and arrogance for some people, but for others it's just not knowing that you don't know that these other options are out there and what to do about it. You know, as we grow up, we learn our world around us, and we learn you know, whatever our job or our skill is, we learn all about that, but actually we know very, very little about the wider picture, the world in general. But we tend to stop there, and we stop learning. Some people stop the process of learning because they think they know, and they get into this things of you know, they think they know what they're doing, they have an opinion, they think they know some of the answers. And they think they understand about the world. You know, when we get to a certain age, oh, my phone's pinging, apologies. When we get to a certain age that we think, oh yeah, you know, we've reached an age of wisdom. In fact, actually, it reminds me of a little saying that I learnt in my 30s. I think I first heard this, and I was in my early 30s, and it made me smile then, and I've never forgotten it. And it goes something like this, you know. When you're a teenager, you think you know everything. When you're in your 20s, you know everything. When you're in your 30s, you realise you don't know quite so much after all. When you're in your 40s, you realise you know nothing at all. And when you're in your 50s, you're wise. And that sort of like sums up the unconscious incompetence until we get to a certain point, or we're prepared to open our mind and open our eyes and to look at what else is going on around us. We don't know what we don't know. And our brain, if we don't know, what will often happen, especially if we've had a tough time, if we've had a bit of a negative time of it, our brain will, the negative part of our brain will hijack our imagination, and it will start filling in those blanks that we don't know with negative stuff, okay? And when we don't know stuff, what our brain also does is, if we decide it's negative, or if it's something we don't know about, our brain will go and find evidence to back up our opinion. But in actual fact, we're in the very first phase of this learning cycle of unconscious incompetence, when we don't know what we don't know. However, and I was there when I was worse than them actually. If there was a step before that of thinking you know everything, that's where I was. I had to go into unconscious kind of not knowing what you don't know, because I thought I knew. So I had an even harder learning cycle than necessary, and all due down to my own fault. But getting into this realm of unconscious incompetence, when you don't know what you don't know, okay? You know, my problem, I didn't know it at the time because I didn't know what I didn't know. But what I didn't know and didn't understand was that my arrogance and my ego was just blocking my mind to learning. So So anyway, so I blocked, you know, I had these blinkers on of what I thought the world was, and sure no, I had thought I had life sussed, I was doing okay. Anyway, so I went through I went from that position into unconscious incompetence. And then the next phase on, which I then went into, was conscious incompetence. And that's like opening your eyes for the first time and seeing a whole different world. It's suddenly realizing that you don't know. You know, it's conscious, so I'm consciously aware that I didn't know anything about what I was doing. You know, and actually that's the point. If you've tried things in your life and they haven't been successful for you, or you've given up for whatever reason, if you've been in business before, if you've tried to build your own online business before, if you never get out of unconscious incompetence, and you like me and you thought you knew what you were doing, or you don't get into the phase, or when you step into the phase of conscious incompetence, that's when the whole thing can get really overwhelming. You know, and you realize how much you don't know. But when you get into this point, this is where a transformation takes place. If you get through that, and that's the hardest thing, I think, is going from that unconscious incompetence phase to conscious incompetence, right? And when you step into that and you realize how much you don't know, yeah, it's overwhelming. And that is where the tendency is to then give up, because it just seems so overwhelming. There's so much to learn, and you've gone from if you haven't given up, it's the arrogant people and then the ego people, like I was, that give up before that stage, because they will come up with the excuse, oh well, it doesn't work. It's obviously a scam. This doesn't work, and they will go from opportunity to opportunity, looking for the one that works. But you know what? Guess what? Right? At everyone, you're there. You know, you show up to a new opportunity, so do you. Right? And if you haven't got through this unconscious incompetence, if you haven't stepped out of that into conscious incompetence, then that's where you start blaming everything around you, finding excuses for why not. And you never get past that stage. So when we go into conscious incompetence, it can seem overwhelming, but that's where we step. Everybody goes to university. Everybody who starts learning something new, it's an exciting phase that you have stepped in to a role of learning, and you stepped up to the plate, you stepped up to the game, you've decided to learn. And don't let the overwhelm get to you. Don't let the information overwhelm and the fact that you realize how much you don't know and how much there is to learn. Just work through it step by step. So then the next phase after that is conscious competence, right? And that's when you realize that you now know what you're doing, but you have to do it consciously, right? And that's the phase that I've stepped into not so long ago, is that this is just like, boom, I've realized that this works. This is what I've got to do, that this is the strategy, this is the technique, this is what I needed to learn before, and I've learned it, and this is now happening, and it's all coming together, but I have to concentrate on doing it. And that's the phase where I'm at right now. And it's so exciting, but I consciously have to do it every time, and I'm consciously learning all the time. But I've become competent at what I'm doing, and my business has stepped into a whole new level, and it's really exciting. Now, this whole process is a little bit like driving a car. You know, you think before you start learning to drive a car, if you've ever learned to drive, you think, oh yeah, it looks easy, I can learn to drive a car. That's your unconscious incompetence. And you get in and you have your first lesson or whatever. And in England, we mainly have cars with gears, what you call a shift stick, don't you, in America? And trying to get the whole clutch, gear, accelerate a whole sequence sorted out, and then you've got to look in the mirrors, you've got to be, you know, it's overwhelming, and that's your conscious incompetence when you sort of think, oh my God, I'm never going to get this. And then it comes together and you pass your test, but you're there for the first few weeks like gripping the wheel, and you're having to be consciously aware of what's going on around you, constantly checking the mirrors and everything. I remember my first trip out on my own after I passed my test when I was 18. I remember being scared the car was going to fall apart because I was concentrating so much. I could hear the wheels on the road underneath me, and I thought there was something wrong with the car. But that was my conscious competence. You know, I could drive, shit scared, but I could drive, and that's conscious competence. Where you just you know, you go out and you do it on your own because you know how to do it and you have the confidence to do it, but you're having to concentrate on it. And then after that, you step into unconscious competence, where you're just doing it. Like driving now, you get in a car and you don't think about it, right? And that's your unconscious competence, where you're just doing it automatically and it's easy and you just do it without thinking about it. And that's the level that the leaders in this organization have reached, where for them, they don't even think about it. They look at their email, they send out an email and they generate $10,000 or whatever, because they are unconsciously competent. And that's who we're learning off, and that's who I'm aspiring to, and that's who I'm taking instruction from, and that's who I'm learning from. And that's, you know, at a complete different level, and that's the next phase that I'm going to step into. And I'm so excited, looking forward to that stage as well. And I'm hovering between two at the moment. I'm well and truly into conscious competence and working towards the next level. So there you go, there's the learning cycle. Wherever you are on it, if you're coming into this business, if you've been around the MLM or home business or online business area before and it's not worked for you, it's probably actually because you're stuck in unconscious incompetence. I'm not saying you're incompetent, I'm just saying that there's something you need to learn to open your eyes to become coachable and to learn the next thing. If you're in conscious incompetence, then fantastic. You know you've got to do a load of learning, and you can learn, anybody can learn. So that's it. I've probably gone over 7 minutes again. I do try. I just get so into what I'm telling you that I just can't stop. So I'll stop waffling and cut this off now. I've been Emma from Team Living Your Dream. There is a training course actually that you can get, which will be below this, that is the 7 fundamental steps that you need to take to explode your income earning potential. It's a training course I've recorded recently. You can access it by the link below this video if you would like to take it onto the next level for yourself, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and get these training videos absolutely free. Or, you know, get in contact, connect with me on Facebook, send me an email, whatever, I'm here. So I will see you on the beaches of the world. I've been Emma from Team Living Your Dream. Bye.